Hi, I'm Ray, and welcome to my May 2026 reading journal. For May, we are skipping my starter pages once again, because I read way too many books because I participated in the Goober Readathon, which we'll talk about when we get to that page. But I read 11 books in May, and this video is long enough as it is, so I decided to skip those pages in this video. But if you want to see that, let me know, because I did record that, so I can edit out a video of that to show you guys if you want to see. But for my cover page, I decided to go with this kind of pastry sweets bakery theme, and all of these artists are local artists to me. They're all from Manaus, and I got stickers and stationery from them, and I just got old origami paper and some old red paper that I had in my stack of stuff. And these are all local artists. I have all of their Instagram handles linked down below, as well as written on the video just now. So is at Shokotanyu, Puffy.art, Lily Chan Art, Meu Jabuti Fugiu, Akorelina Art, and Use Memomi. I'll have them all linked down below, and they'll also be listed on my long list of art supplies. They're all amazing artists. There's so many amazing artists in Manaus, and I'm so lucky that I have access to all of them. I have so many things, and I spent so much money. I definitely used my treat yourself prompt from my Lost in the Library challenge to just buy a bunch of stationery. That was how I interpreted that. From April, that was my April prompt for my Lost in the Library, and that's what I did. I just bought so many stickers. For my cover page, I'm just putting down some of the old origami paper. I've had this origami paper for a good 10 plus years. I don't even know when or how I had a stack of different origami paper stationery, and I just had this hanging around for ages, and it just fit perfectly with the color scheme of what's going on here. And I'm just putting it down everywhere, and it's all paper, so I had to glue it with my glue stick because that's what happens. I don't really like the glue tape. I find it very finicky to use, and I'm just gluing down as well all the stickers that I got, and they're so cute. Look at that, it's so precious. And I'm just putting down again the name of the 3 artists that I used specifically for the cover page, which was Shokotanyu, that did the bigger print, Meu Jabuti Fugiu, that did the 2 bigger stickers, and Akorelina Art, that did the stickers from the sticker sheet for the smaller stickers as well. And I just wrote May in a big dual brush. That is a cis brush, not a tumble brush, but they work very similarly. It's just the red colorway. I think is number 17 of the cis brush. And I used Tumble number 761 to do a pink shadow on the May. Now for my stats for May, as I said, I read 11 books in May. Them being, now let's start. Are you ready for this list? I started with A House with Good Bones by T. Kingfisher, followed by A River Has Roots by Amal El-Motad. Then it was The Resurrectionist by A. Ray Dunlap. Then it was Fullmetal Alchemist, the 20th year anniversary book by Hiromu Arakawa, followed by Witch Hat Atelier Volume 1 by Kamome Shirahama, because of course I'm starting new manga to read instead of doing One Piece. Don't at me. Then it was A Restless Truth by Freya Marsk. I am trying to read the series that I set myself out to read, followed by Apothecary Diaries Volume 9 by Natsu Hyuga. Then it was Pink Heart Jam Volume 1 by Shike, followed again by Pink Hearts Volume 2 by Shike. That was a full series. Then it was At Night All Blood is Black by David Diop. And last but not least was the Apothecary Diaries Volume 10 by Natsu Hyuga. And those were all the books. Those that have seen my videos before will be surprised to see that I've read so many physical books because I tend to read mostly digital. And that's because somehow I own a bunch of the manga that I read this month. So 5 out of the 11 are physical books that I read, and 4 out of those were manga. So for the source of books, 5 of those I owned, 4 being manga and the 5th being At Night All Blood is Black. And for the page range, most of them were under 300 pages, most of them being around 200 pages actually, and just 3 being around the 300 page range. I went for shorter books, mostly because I ended up reading 4 manga, so they ended up being quite small books. But I also read 2 short stories. I read The River Has Roots and At Night All Blood's Black, which are 2 under 200 page books. So they're quite short, but they're both really good, which I highly recommend. We'll talk about them when we get there. But for the total of pages I read this month was 2,678, which is pretty good, honestly. And I'm very happy with that. Now, for the tombos I used for these pages, the darker pink is number 803, and the lighter pink is 761, which are just darling colors. I really like them. And for my rating, we'll come back to this page to put down my final rating for this month. We'll just circle back to this page. But before we talk books, let's talk about the Goober Readathon. The Goober Readathon is organized by the Goobers Who Read, or Jashi, Corinne, Monica, and Rachel. And this is actually my 2nd year participating in the Readathon. And it was really fun participating. I didn't give as much attention to the Readathon this year as I did last year, but it's because this year I had a trip in the middle of May to do as well, so there was a lot going on in May. But I'm still happy that I was able to participate, and I still ended up reading 11 books to the 14 that I read last year, so still a pretty good outing, if I say so myself. For the double spread page that I did, I decided to just write everything down. I was originally gonna print, but I decided to punish my hand instead of punishing my printer. Why? Who knows? It was mostly because I didn't want to bulk up my notebook more than needed, and it's already so chunky. I accepted my fate of just writing everything down. It's fine. And to write everything down, I am using Pigma Micron for the black bits. Pigma Micron number 5. The bigger writing is a Pigma Micron number 10. Sorry, the Pigma Micron 05 and the Pigma Micron 10 for the bigger writing. The Uniball Signal Gold Pen for the gold squares. Brown Sis BPX07 for the brown smaller text. A Sis Brush Caramello for which is number 30 for Goober Readathon in Caramello and highlighting a couple of things, and a Tombow 942 for a couple more highlights that I'll do later on. For the stickers, I used Use Memomi, Puffy.art, and Shokotanyu, and these stickers are precious. I mean, look at this. These 4 stickers are from Shokotanyu, and she's the same artist that did the print for the May cover page. And they are perfect. Look at that. And then the doggy food stickers are Puffy.art, and these are precious. Look at that. That dog bread sticker is perfection. I love that. It's perfect. And I'm just putting it down. And honestly, the theme for this page, I decided to go with bakery because the Year of Goober is bakery themed. And that's why I went with bakery for the Goober Readathon, is specifically bakery, even though it's more cooking. In general, I went with bakery specifically because of that. And the one thing I did print out was the achievement stickers. to have down as in the little squares that I did in the golden pen. I have test kitchen, I have advanced culinary skills. I almost got cozy cuisine, which is why I put a little sticker there. I did get cooking technique, and I also got kitchen basics. I got 4 achievements, which was really fun. I went for like full achievements. I tried getting 5 achievements. I got 4, which is pretty good, which brought me up to 38 points, which put me down as a spirited sous chef. And I printed out also the Goober tears, and they just look so cute. I'm very happy with this. I was gonna put that doggy chef down, but he had too much blue in him, so he didn't match the color scheme as well as everything else. It's fine, but I'm very happy that I got this sticker sheet by Memomi, because she has like these tiny stars and pancake stacks and flans, and it's just perfect to like fill out this page with the little things. It's just so good. I'm very happy with how this page turned around. But let's get into the book reviews. First up, A House with Good Bones by T. Kingfisher. Before we start talking about the book itself, let me just say that I slightly changed the way I did the reviews. First up, I used this memorized bread sticky sheet paper to do kind of like a border around all of the covers for this month, just so I could write down each prompt for the Goober Readathon for each of the books. And it's just so it relates back to the readathon for the month of May. So all the review pages will have this little bread sticker thing, and it's just so it's a little bit different from the other months because of the readathon. That's it. But talking about A House with Good Bones by T. Kingfisher, this is my 3rd book by Kingfisher, and unfortunately I didn't like it as much as I liked the other 2 that I read. This was a bit of a dud for me. This book follows Sam, who's an archaeoentomologist, or an archaeologist for bugs, as she goes back to her grandma/mother's house due to unforeseen work circumstances and finds something's very wrong with her mother. And to me, this book fails mostly because the characters, honestly, I didn't like them. They felt kind of flat to me. I did not care for Sam, her mom, or anyone else for that matter. This is a horror book, and the premise of the magic was really good, but it was not interesting enough to make the book shine for me. So that's why it was kind of like a bit of a dud for me, honestly. So for my rating, I gave 2 for characters, 3 for atmosphere, 3 for relationship, 3 for plot, and 3 for enjoyment. So overall, it ended up being a 2.8 or a 3 stars. So a good book, because Kingfisher writes well and I enjoy her writing, but nothing to write home about. And it was the unusual ingredients for the Goober Readathon, because I don't tend to read horror. I think this is like my 3rd horror this year, but it's because I've been looking for horror books to read. It's a genre that I've been trying to read more of, because it's not something I tend to read. So unusual ingredients it was. As for the ephemera that I used for the collage, I used my handy dandy washi tape that I cut in half and put down, and stickers from my Mystical Ephemera sticker book. And as you can see, I only used half the page because there's so many books, and I didn't really like this book, so I thought it would be best to use only half a page. And for the next book, that was The River Has Roots by Amal Al-Muhtaj, and that is a short book, so it makes sense to have a little less space for me to write things down, because it was a short story, so it made sense for them to share a page. And same thing, it has a little sticker bread there, so I can have it as a follow through with everything. And the River Has Roots ended up fulfilling the cooking collab for the prompts for the Goober Readathon, which was a book club book for March for the Goober book club. So it worked out perfectly. It was my Goober. It was not the May book club book, but it was the March book club book. So it worked out, and I used the same washi tape for the ephemera and also the mystical sticker book, the mystical ephemera sticker book for the stickers as well. Now for this book, Almutad is actually the author that wrote This Is How You Lose the Time War, which is another short story book that is also amazing. I loved This Is How You Lose the Time War, and I actually liked This Is How You Lose the Time War better because I think it's a more successful short story. The River Has Roots is a short story that I wish was a longer story. I think that's how I kind of wish it was a bigger story. I want more out of it. So it left me wanting more. So this one follows two sisters, Esther and Isabel, that live with their family at the edge of a fairy realm. And I can't really say more because it's such a short story that if I say anything, it will tell you the story, basically. Things happen, and the story itself is about the bond between the sisters and how unforeseen circumstances cannot diminish that bond that they have. And it's really precious. But I'm a sucker for a sisterly bond story, so this hit me right in the feels. As for my rating, I gave it 3 for characters, 4 for atmosphere, 4 for relationship, 4 for plot, and 3 for enjoyment. Again, I just wish this book was a little bit longer. It ended up having a 3.6 or a 3.5 stars. Now, for the next book is The Resurrectionist by A. Ray Dunlap, number 31. As the title suggests, this book is about the resurrectionist, in special the ones working in Edinburgh in the 19th century. And for those that don't know, the resurrectionists were a group of anatomists in the Enlightenment that dug up graves to take people's bodies so people could study them. And that is the setting of this book. And it's not just the setting, it is the actual core and plot of this book, as we follow James and Aneurin, I don't know how to say his name. They explain it in the book and I still don't understand it, around Edinburgh. And the cool thing about this book is that it's not just set in this real world thing that happened. It actually tangentially relates to real world murders that existed in Edinburgh around the time because of the grave robbing that was existing at the time. A. Ray Dunlap took real life murders and wove into the story. The story is not about these crimes, but it tangentially relates to it and is quite interesting. I really enjoyed this book. It's really fun. And the one thing I'll say, I did not know, I probably knew when I first chose to read this, but then I forgot about it. And when I picked it back up, I totally had forgotten about it. This book is LGBTQIA+, and I did not know. So when I started reading it and James and Aneurin meet, I was like, please kiss. And I was like, it's never gonna happen. And then they do. And I was like, oh my god, they did. I was so surprised. I was very excited about it. But for my rating, 4s across the board. This is really well written, really well researched. I was really excited about this book. I had a great time with it. As for my ephemera in it, I, of course, had to whip out my anatomy book because, of course, I cannot read a book about anatomists and not put ephemera of anatomy in it, of course. And the eye sticker is from my mystical ephemera book because it had that and I had to put it down because it's good. It makes part of the whole shebang. And I really recommend this book. It's really good. James is a sweetheart, and Aneurin, he grows on you. He's not as I mean, both of them really grow on you. I had a really good time with this book. I'm like smiling as I talk about it. I really enjoyed this one. Moving on. Next up is number 32, Fullmetal Alchemist 20-year anniversary book by Hiromu Arakawa. What can I say? Fullmetal Alchemist is one of my favorite stories ever, and this book is the special edition that came out for the 20th year anniversary. It came out a couple years ago now, but I was only able to buy it now. And it's a compilation of short stories that Arakawa did along the years, and it is a mix of short stories that she wrote as well as letters from voice actors from both anime adaptations and both anime directors and it's a celebration of the 20th year anniversary of the series. And because it is a compilation book and it's more of a celebration than it is a story, I did not put it through my Carpe Diem system because it doesn't really fit into that system at all. So I put it just on vibes because I've been giving stars to everything, and I gave it 3.5 stars because, yeah, vibes based, I guess. That being said, if you don't know anything about the series, do a favor to yourself and go check it out. Either read the manga. I say read the manga because it is amazing, or watch the anime. You can watch Fullmetal Brotherhood, or you can watch Fullmetal, the original 2003 anime. Both are very good. I would say watch Brotherhood more because it's more faithful to the manga adaptation, or to the manga, and the manga is the better story in my opinion. So do a favor to yourself and go check that out. In a very, very short, spoiler-free synopsis, Fullmetal Alchemist followed the Eric brothers, Edward and Alphonse Eric, as they journey the country trying to fix their bodies after a botched alchemical experiment. But this story is so much more than that, and reading this anniversary book just made me want to reread the series from the start. I haven't reread Fullmetal Alchemist in so long, so I've been itching for an excuse, and I might have just found an excuse to reread this series. As for what I'm doing, I again divided the page in two, this time around vertically, and I'm just putting down a sticker by Dominic Poppins, another Manaus artist. And I just thought this fan art sticker that he did was so good, and I had to put it down. And this fulfilled pressure cooking, or read in 24 hours for the Goober Readathon. Next up was Witch Hat Atelier Volume 1 by Kamome Shirahama. I've been meaning to read this for ages, and with the anime coming out this year, I finally started. I've only read the first volume so far, and it's gorgeous. I love it. The artwork is beautiful, and I loved our introduction to the world and the magic system. I've heard really good things about the magic system, so I'm really excited to learn more about it, but the introduction to it has me really excited about it. I'm really excited to learn more. I can't wait to find out more about the story and start figuring out what's going on and who is who and what is what. In this first volume, we follow Coco, our protagonist, as she finds out she can actually be a magician and start her studies in the field of magic as a complete outsider, which of course is expected. It's really an expected trope that our main character is an outsider to the magic system of what's going on, so we can get things explained to our protagonist, so we can learn things as our protagonist learns them, and this follows that initial setup as well. But of course, a first volume in a manga is very much just the setup, so I don't know anything about what is going on. I just know that the artwork is beautiful and the setup is really well made. I'm really excited for it so far. But before I continue with the story, I just need to figure out if I want to read it or if I want to watch it. because I really want to watch the anime as well, because it looks so beautiful as well. I've seen like stills and a little bit of the images coming out of the anime, and it looks so beautiful. So I'm also really excited for the anime. So I'm deciding if I'm gonna watch the first season of the anime and then come back and read the manga, or if I'll just read the manga and then eventually go and watch the anime. So I'm still deciding what I'm gonna do. But for my ratings, I gave it 4 for characters, 5 for atmosphere, 4 for relationships, 4 for plot, and 4 for enjoyment, which brought it to a 4.2 or a 4-star rating. And I can't wait to figure out what else is going on in this world. I'm very excited to learn more as I read or watch what's going on. I'm very excited. As for the Goober Readathon, I used it to fulfill the prompt air frying or 300 pages or less. As for what I'm doing to the page, I am using the red paper to continue the background. That sliver of red paper that I had really pulling all the stops in May. Honestly, I have no idea how I managed to use so much of that paper. And for the sticker, I did not have anything for which had atelier, but I had this really cool Guaraná sticker by Oli Azeitona. And Guaraná is an Amazonian fruit that looks like eyes. And I just thought it goes with magic, because it is a real life fruit that looks like eyes. And I'm gonna put a picture here so you can see the actual fruit that looks like that. That is a real thing. It is real, and is you can make energy drinks out of it, basically. Yeah, that is real for those that didn't know. You can also make pop out of it. It's extremely popular in Brazil. And one of my favorite drinks ever, basically. There are so many variations of Guaraná pop. But moving on, next book in our list is A Restless Truth by Freya Marsk. And I'm just commemorating there because that was a very good stamping of 34. I gotta say, I learned how to stamp better for May, and I'm very excited about it. Restless Truth is the second book in the Last Binding trilogy, and I gotta say, if the last book of this trilogy doesn't give me Hawthorne's backstory, I will write it. Whoever read this series will know what I'm talking about. And please, if the last book is not about Hawthorne, I will be so mad. But moving on, talking about this book specifically. This story, I will try not to talk spoilers about the plot of the trilogy itself. This book is mainly about British magicians trying to stop other British magicians from controlling all of magic. And yeah, I guess that is like a very non-descriptive way of explaining what's going on in this trilogy. Yeah, basically, people are trying to control all the magic, other people are trying to make sure they don't do that. That is a very simple explanation of the plot. And of course, it's all hush-hush because magical society's secret, as it always is. And the setting here is that it's Victorian England, and books 1 and 2, we have POV characters that are magical, POV characters that are not magical, and we go from there. This is an LGBTQIA romantasy series. The first book, we have a gay ship. In the second book, we have a lesbian one. So that's fun to see. I was very excited to see. When I saw the cover, I was like, oh, it's gonna be lesbians. So I was very excited to be correct. In the third book, we better have By Panic, because I'm expecting it to be Hawthorne. And if it's not Hawthorne, I will riot. Continuing on. These books are spicy, I will say. They're not like super spicy. They are explicit, but not super crazy. But there's a fair amount. So beware if you don't want to read that. But it's not crazy. There's no crazy shenanigans going on. It's normal shenanigans, but there's a fair amount of it. How to say things around things. Anyway, I can't really talk about the plot of this book a lot, because then I'll be going to spoilers for the story, because it is a second book in a trilogy. But it does continue with the story really well, and it is a very contained story because of the setting that we have for this book in particularly. For what I'm doing to the page, I use this box of Mucha stickers that I have. So a bunch of artwork by Mucha, the Art Nouveau artist, who was an amazing artist, and I love his style so much. And I just chose two pieces of art that looked like our main protagonist, and I thought it worked really well. And just another sticker that kind of felt like a group of people, because we do have sort of an ensemble going on here. And then I paired that with this kind of soft blue impressionistic washi tape to go with the vibe of the story and of the cover. And yeah, that's what we have going on. For the rating, I have 4 for characters, 3 for atmosphere, 4 for relationships, 4 for plot, and 4 for enjoyment. And this was the community cookout, or a poll-picked book. And now, for the next page, we are going to have to be a little creative with our numbering system, because I wanted to do a double spread with these books, because I read numbers 9 and 10 of the Apothecary Diaries in May, but I did not read them back to back. I read them as numbers 35 and 39, so I had to shuffle some books around, which is fine to me, but it's the reason why the numbers now are kind of all over the place. But I needed to put them together. I needed to do a double spread for them, because I had to. I finally read 2 of them in a row, or in the same month. So I had to do a double spread. And I'm very happy I did, because it ended up looking very cute, if I say so myself. So let me know what you think about how these pages turned out, because they are probably my favorite out of the pages for the books in May. As always, as I say, I can't say anything about these books, because I am so deep into this series that anything I say about anyone is a spoiler. If I mention a character is a spoiler, right? If I mention a city or anything, literally anything is a spoiler. So I can't say anything. What I will say is that for number 9, I am very happy with the turn of events that happens on number 9. And I was very excited to learn more about Loman's backstory. And honestly, it made me want a short story about his backstory, like an actual side quest book where we follow his story, like him as a POV character. I really wanted that. And for number 10 is when we actually get a payoff of a lot of the political machinations that we've been reading about for the past like 3 or 4 volumes. So I'm also very excited to finally get a lot of the payoff that we've been reading about. So there was a lot going on in these 2 volumes that finally started paying off, and I was very excited to see that finally happen. And I think that's all I can say. If you want to talk about Apothecary Diaries, please hit me up. I will totally talk Apothecary Diaries with you, just not in this video, because it would be unfair to the people that want to read this in their own pace, because if you don't want spoilers, I'm not the one spoiling it for you. As for my ratings, for number 9, I gave 4 for characters, 4 for atmospheres, 5 for relationship, 5 for plot, and 4 for enjoyment, bringing it to a 4.4 or 4.5 stars. For number 10, 4 for characters, 4 for atmospheres, 5 for relationships, 5 for plot, and 4 for enjoyment, bringing it to the same 4.4 or 4.5 stars. Basically the same rating for both books. Natsuo Hyuga has been very consistent in the quality of her writing, even though the stories kind of vary widely about what is going on, even though there's a very clear through line of what's going on throughout the story. There's a very big variation of what is going on from book to book, but the quality of her story is very much appreciated, even though I continue to despise the English translator Kevin Steinbeck. And I am so excited that the Brazilian versions are coming out this year. I need to go put in my pre-order order in. I need to go do that. As I finish this, I will go do that. Anyway, back to what I'm doing to the page. I am using my PT tape of random plants because it's what I had, and I had to fussy cut them myself because of course I did, because this is not fussy cut to my extreme sadness. And I just used this text paper, which is actually from my anatomy book, because of course it is. And the Mau Mau and Jinshi stickers are from Nino Palmerito, who is a Brazilian artist as well, but this time he is from Brasilia, the capital. So not a local artist to me, but still a Brazilian artist. I absolutely love being able to buy stickers from small creators, and these stickers are so beautiful. I love them so much. I'm pretty sure I used some of his stickers as well for my spread for number 8 for the Apothecary Diaries as well, I believe. Yeah, I think so. But yeah, it's just so pretty. And I'll put more in the page as, yeah, there you go. That frog is perfection. But, oh, I forgot. For the Goober Readathon, number 9 is for mixology or blends genres, because even though this is a mystery story, this is actually really funny, and it's also kind of like a comedy series. It's hilarious. And number 10, I wrote it wrong. It's not produce sourcing, it's pastry making, a 4+ star rating average. And I will eventually figure it out and fix that. And it will show up eventually in the next few minutes. You will see me go back and go, wait a second, there's something wrong here. Because I eventually do figure out that I made a boo-boo. And I will fix it. And I have one sticker left in my Nina Palmerito sticker sheet. So I'll figure that out. And I have one duck sticker from May Katani, because on number 10 we have a duck and she's precious, and I had to put a duck sticker, and that was my only duck sticker, which is why it's there. And that is my Apothecary Diaries spread. Now let's try to finish these May spreads. Now we have numbers 36 and 37 of the year, Pink Heart Gems volumes 1 and 2, which is the full series for the manga. And I decided to put them together on the page, one, to make my life easier, so I would have one final spread for May, and two, because this is a fairly short story, so I thought it made sense to just put it all together in one page for me to talk about it. And also because I rated them together. Like, I rated both of these stories together in my Carpe system, because I read them back to back, and I thought it was more fair to the story to do that. That rating being 3 for characters, 5 for atmosphere because the artwork is beautiful, 4 for relationships because they are really cute together, 3 for plot because there's very little, and 5 for enjoyment because this story, it is very cute and I really enjoyed it, bringing it up to a total of 4 stars. And I just gave that star rating for both volumes in total because I thought that made it really fair to the entire story. Now, for the Goober Readathon, I put Pink Hearts Jam Volume 1 as food safety for A Book You Think You Like, and number 2 was the actual product sourcing, A Newly Acquired Book, because actually I got these books as a gift. I got these for my birthday from a friend as a birthday gift. I got this deluxe edition, which is why I had like bits and bobs that I showed you just now, because I got the deluxe edition as a birthday gift, and which was really nice for my friend. Thank you so much, Iago and João. And it was so fun. It was so nice of them to give it to me, and I had so much fun reading this. It was so cute and right up my alley. This is the kind of story that I eat up. It's a slice of life music university students BL, and while not completely wholesome, it is very sweet and I'd even say romantic. It is a very fast read. It is only 2 volumes and I read like I only spent 2 days because I started volume 1. It was fairly late in the day, so it took me 2 days to read because I had to sleep. But for what I'm doing to the page, I went with the color scheme that we have, pink and black, for our main characters as well, and flowers because they're the sweetest. They're very sweet to each other, which made me really happy in reading it. It's like when it's slice of life, I really expect the characters to be really nice to each other and really communicate, and that was what made me really happy with this story. They are very good at communicating to each other, even though they're still like university students and they have like misunderstandings and miscommunications. They're very good at speaking to each other, which was nice. And for the ephemera itself that I got from the deluxe box, I'm just taking out some of the paper backing just so it's a little bit thinner, and it makes my life easier to glue it down so it's thinner and it doesn't bulk up my journal as much. And I absolutely love how this page turned out, but I'm a sucker for black and pink together. It's such a good color combination. But yeah, that was Pink Heart Jam, and now for the last book of these May spreads. And before I start talking about At Night All Blood is Black by David Diop, this is around the time I figure out I made a mistake and have to go back and figure out how to fix my mistake with the Apothecary Diaries page, and I just have to cut out some of the paper for the bread and have to rewrite pastry making on top of that. That is a little bit of cost correction, easy peasy lemon squeezy. I just gotta do that real quick. But let's talk about At Night All Blood is Black by David Diop. This is probably one of the best books I've read this entire year, honestly. This is a very good book. This book is about a Senegalese soldier in World War I fighting in the French side of no man's land, and it is haunting. It took me 2 days to finish because I needed to sleep. Otherwise, it would probably have taken me like a day to read because I could not put it down. I devoured this book. I think that is a good way of saying it. The writing is quite unique and it's a bit strange, so it could put some people off. I could say that. It might not be for everyone, but I loved the style and I really enjoyed the narrator. To me, it is almost a perfect book. It falters slightly in the depth of the friendship that we are asked to really care about between Alpha Ndiaye, the main narrator, and Mademba Diop, the friend that he is talking to us about. And mostly because, to me, it felt like we needed a bit more of Mademba in the book for us to really care about their friendship. And that is where my rating kind of faltered a little bit. It's the only reason why it's not a completely 5-star book for me. Like, the Mademba to me needed to be a stronger character for this book to be a complete 5-star. But this is a very good book. I gotta say though, this book's extremely violent, and there is some violence in the book, especially towards the end, that I thought it was a little unnecessary. That has me questioning a little bit. But otherwise, this book is glorious, and I understand the need for most of the violence in this book because of the subject matter. So I'm not faulting the book for its violence, just questioning some of the choices that were made, especially towards the end of the book. That is where I'm gonna stop talking about it so I don't give spoilers. It is a very short book though, at 145 pages, so that's where I'm gonna go with that. It's very short, so give it a go. It's a very fast read. As for what I'm doing in the page, I just chose some brown and blue paper as a backdrop, and I went into my very dwindling collection of anatomy book illustrations and chose an arm and hand illustration that is very relevant to the story as it shows in the cover. And if you read this book, you'll know why hands are so important in the story. But this is such a good book, and I don't know, it's probably the best, it's definitely the best book I read this month. And if it wasn't these like little caveats that I'm putting down, probably would have been a 5-star read. And I think a lot of people would have given it 5-star. I'm just being nitpicky, I guess. But some things happened in this book that I can't give it 5 stars to. And this was used for the Goober Readathon for menu planning, or a book that I plan to read this year, because this was part of my Rolled for Reading books challenge that I rolled for April or March. Anyway, I rolled a couple of months ago and I finally got around to read it. So, yay me. And those were the books that I read in May. With all the spreads done, we can finally go back to the cover page and put down all of our ratings for May. We ended up with 1 3 stars, 2 3.5 stars, 5 4 stars, and 3 4.5 stars. Still no second 5-star for the year, but we ended up with an average rating of 3.95, which is the highest average rating of my year so far, and I am extremely happy about that, especially because in June I am currently reading Mockingjay, and I think that's gonna be my next 5-star read. So yay May and June. That being said, thank you so much for being here today. If you watched all the way through, thank you so much. Let me know what your favorite page is. Let me know if you participated on the Goober Readathon and what readathons do you normally participate in. I'm always looking for new ones to participate. I don't tend to do a lot of readathons because I am very bad at keeping track of those, but it's always fun to try. And I had a lot of fun this month. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're into that sort of thing. And I'll see you next month. Bye.